Hello and welcome. Today is February 2nd. Welcome. This is your Afterlife Connections. I am your host, Lillian Suarez, and I hope all is well with everyone. Happy Monday, beginning of the week. That means we have a whole 5 days to get things accomplished and stay motivated. Today I have a wonderful, beautiful guest coming on, James Martinez. He is a very bright soul with a long journey, but you would never know it because his love is felt and his light is very, very, like I said, bright. Excited to have him on today, onto the show to share the story as he talks about Sanctity and explains how he experienced that moment in his life so that we can all understand our journey is always based on love and light, and it's always within. It's not outward, it's inward. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on in a moment. You can call us, as this is a call-in show, at 1-657-383-0827. Again, the number to call in is 1-657-383-0827. You can also go to Lifescape Radio /live and join us on chat. Again, it is Lifescape Radio /live and join us on chat. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring my guest on, James Martinez. Hello, James.
Hello, Lillian. God bless you. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. How are you on this Monday?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing wonderful myself. Thank you so much for having me on your show once again. And, I feel really inspired to be here. And, I love the topic of sanctity. So, again, thank you for bringing me here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. I think that just listening to your story, I really got taken back to the beginning of my journey. And I think it's a beautiful, important word that is very deep-rooted in a journey of light and love. And I'm glad that you're able to come on and speak about it because some of us search and we don't understand. We don't understand that it's within, not outward.
Right. It's quite a journey. I think everything that we experience we're meant to. You touched a really great point just a moment ago and said that, the journey is inward. Although we have all this external experiences outwardly, and that's part of what gives our lives a meaning, and, the journey, it's truly within. And, when we start learning about the direction that we're all meant to head, towards, and for the reasons of why that's there, life after life and things of that nature, then, learning the lessons as we move through life, it makes a lot more sense. And I hope to help people better understand those connections and, try to interpret those experiences a little easier than the things I had to go through. They were pretty challenging back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked a little bit about. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, James.
I was going to say we talked a little bit about sanctity when we first spoke about doing this show, and we talked about the general direction that my life headed towards and why that happened. And, again, it was because of the calling, God calling me in this general direction. But my understanding is that He called everybody. God truly called everybody to Him. It's whether or not we take that call and move towards Him. But then there are those steps that we have to go through in order to interpret all the things that we experience. So I think that's part of what I was hoping to really talk about today.
Absolutely, I think it's beautiful and wonderful, and a lot of healers that stand in the light and have the strength to have the motivation and eagerness to want to give that to people. In other words, show everyone that they have that within, have been through trying moments where we found the light, where we knew that it was God's footprints in the sand and not ours. And
exactly.
We want to give that to people because it's a very selfless place. It is a very peaceful, humbling place to find within.
Indeed, yes, it is. When you talk about right there, it reminds me of it's what we call edifying, right? It's the edification. We're teaching them, whoever they might be, the way that improves the mind. How do you improve their character? How do you interpret how do you know about all that stuff? Well, you have other people who have gone through those same kinds of things, and that's what we're here for, is to help lead the way by, allowing God's light to shine through us to show them this is really how it goes. And I hope that's probably, what most people understand about edification. I didn't even know what edification was all about when I first started. I had to look the word up, the definition of it. I didn't know.
Yeah,
but,
what? I didn't even know how to say it.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What?
Yeah, I had no idea. I remember meeting with angels, because I met quite a few angels, and I was listening to the show beforehand. And, I've met with quite a few angels on my journey. I used to get quite a few visits from the archangels, especially. They would all come over to the house, and they were all teaching me different lessons. The face-to-face encounters and things like that. The things that they were teaching me was about what edification was. They were bringing up things that I didn't understand, and I had to go and look the meaning up. It kind of really helped me understand where I was at the beginning of my journey. It was very rough around the edges, to put it very mildly. But I think they saw, the purity of my heart and the hope for understanding, and that quest that I was searching for and having a meaning of. So that was the direction that they were guiding me towards. But edifying and edification was a big word for me back then.
So what would you say, based on your experience, is, going within? What is this process that we're speaking of? What is the moment? If you can describe it with one moment,
Sure.
How would you describe this experience?
Wow. I've gone through a lot of different perspectives to reach, a higher understanding. But, to summarize it, it's reflection, perspective. Where are you in terms of your understanding? Do you know who you are? You know who you're supposed to be? And if you do, are you doing the best that you can every day? I would try to start with that. For anybody who might not be at this place yet, you have to realize who you are or who you're not. It depends on your perspective once again, but then you also have to realize who you're supposed to be. So that inward growth, or that inward, perception of who we're supposed to be, it takes a lot of courage to look at yourself, especially if you aren't happy with what you see. And then it even takes more courage to move past that person, to get away from the person you're not supposed to be, or to start striving towards the person who you really are. I mean, again, it's perspective, but that realization, that self-reflection, that look inside, you should be able to see your true nature. Now, I'm not talking about the true nature of our flesh, because, we all have a body, and if anyone who's listening is not quite aware of it yet, the tendency of our body is to want to go in a sinful way. This is the way the world is. You can trace this all the way back to Adam and Eve. Okay, so I hope everybody else knows that part. But, when you go and you look within, you see that spirit, you see your soul, you see that true place of godliness and divinity, and that comes from God, because we are made in His image, and in that respect, we are spiritual, just the way God is. He's a spiritual being. So when you look inwardly and you see that reflecting, you should board His characteristics, and that's what good virtue and upright and high and good morals are about, and understanding principality and what we're supposed to be going about doing as we're living through life. That's what having a reflection of who you really are inside, and that's part of what going through the things that we go through in life start revealing. And again, that takes us back to edifying and edification. Learning the way on how to do the things that we're supposed to do. We're all at different levels of our understanding and of our experiences. And, hopefully we're all piecing them together to start working towards becoming even greater persons than we already are. And the only way that I know that that's possible is with God. So, again, looking inward and seeing where you are today, it takes a lot of courage, but it even takes more so to start acting towards being that person who we're supposed to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that, like you stated, everybody's at different levels, and perhaps everybody's way of giving or the life's purpose that their soul is bringing is different, but at the end of the day, it's all the same because it should all always be about love. And you can only find, you can only find love. You can only reach the unreachable and forgive the unforgivable and see those things that you cannot see through your heart with love.
Right.
When you surrender, when you remove pain and hurt and ego, and that's not easy to do. It's not. You got to find this exactly what you're talking about. You got to find that because that is like lighting the flame within.
Absolutely, and it's scary. It's scary for people who don't who don't understand, who don't have faith, or who are skeptical, or even doubting or naysayers, or the people that think that they can just do whatever they want, however they want. This is frightening for them because when you start looking at creation and the way that we are all supposed to behave and conduct ourselves while we're here, if you don't fall within the category of doing it in the right way, and I say right way, I mean by God's way, if you don't fall in that category, then you can, or they can, or whoever they are, can look at this and quickly dismiss it because they are still trying to justify unjustifiable things within their own conscience, within their own heart, a means to allow for themselves to continue on. And, the Bible, I reference the Bible often because it talks about things like this, in righteousness, unrighteousness, stuff like that. But the people that are away from God doing all these things in their own way, they have basically alienated themselves in their hearts and their minds to do whatever they want. And in their own perception, they try to make themselves like God. And not what I mean like godly, but they try to make themselves their own God, and by doing that, they take out the most important part of what we're doing here, and that's having that co-relationship and living in this unifying way to co-create life with us. And, when you do it that way, when we do it that way, life really takes on an entire different perspective, and we're able to bring more love into the world instead of the things that we see going on around the world right now, unfortunately, with a lot of fear-based types of perspectives that people are guided. Again, I think it has a lot to do with how we're perceiving ourselves. Are we making that conscious choice to choose the light? Are we trying to live in that light of God? Are we trying to, look for that loving way within our own lives? Or are we simply, walking in the dark and not even knowing that, we're lost? So that's again, having to reflect on where we are. It takes quite a bit of courage.
Absolutely, it does, and it leads to a peaceful place. I know that before I really had that near-death experience, although I knew that there was something beyond and I felt it inside of me, I had that fear of going to do something that I couldn't see physically, because as human beings, we're taught everything is evidential, everything is factual. And with spirituality or going within, it's everything that you cannot see. So, there is that beautiful moment and that beautiful feeling that comes about you, around you, above you, below you, in your heart, that gives you the courage to stand and say, I am that I am who I am. And I'm okay with who I am, and I trust that who I am is who he made me be.
Wow, yeah, that's great. Great perspective. I think that if we all have that sort of faith and trust in God, then, our lives will continue to get better. I know a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people who struggle with thinking that they're not good enough for God, or they're not good enough to live God's way, that, the things that they're doing, that they're not worthy of, his love or his forgiveness or his help even. When God desires us to do everything with him, having an opportunity to, for those listeners who are listening right now, if you're unaware of this, I've had an opportunity and an amazing blessing to meet with God our Father and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and I've become friends with them over the years. We're talking about face-to-face meetings with the Holy Trinity. taught me were how to really share everything with them. And that's what a unified relationship is all about. And that's what the Word of God teaches us that we're supposed to lean towards, to show us how to have a relationship with God our Father. When you follow in these sort of footsteps that He's presented for us, God blesses us with the Holy Spirit. And, anybody out there who's ever created anything with God, you know what I'm talking about. We have the ability to do things that perhaps beforehand might have seemed impossible. So, reaching these sort of perspectives and these understandings with God, you recognize that we have the ability to have relationships. So we have the ability to share absolutely everything. You know what, God, I'm having a hard day. I really need your help with this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that you know, so I'm going to trust that you're going to handle this. So he handled it. And, pretty soon you're on the other side of what you thought was the problem. And, you gained even more in your faith. You grew even stronger in your faith. And, so that's a lot of what adversity is about within our lives, going through experiences so that we can become even more faithful because, patience creates, even greater faith. Going through difficult situations, whatever they are, increases our faith by going through that problem. So, when I see somebody who's so upset with the way that their life is going in shambles, I think, my goodness, you're probably 5 minutes away from the greatest spiritual growth you've ever had, only you can't see it because it's in disguise or your perspective isn't straight, And, again, all this stuff comes back to what we're hoping to try to lead people toward, and that's the sanctity, and in order to get to that place of righteousness and holiness and goodness with God, you have to go through these lessons. And part of it starts with that edification process. Individuals like yourself, Lillian, who get an opportunity to shed light on the experiences that you're a part of, you help people find their way. And I hope that the listeners out there are doing that same thing. You allow God's light to shine through you. And what happens is the people out there that are struggling, they see something and go, wow, there's something going on with this person over here. What is it? They get closer, and they see it's God's light that's being shined out. And they go, wow, I need some of that in my life. And all of a sudden, you've shown people the way. You're teaching them through your example the edification.
Absolutely, because I think that, I am who I am, and I love unconditionally. And although in this world, I've been dealt some hands of, betrayal or deceitfulness, my heart doesn't know how. Yes, anger kicks in when you go through things, but you know what? When you have an open heart, you get past it. But and I'm okay with that, and it doesn't bother me, and I want to bring people to that place, but that's not always who I was. I was the scared 14-year-old girl that was alone and had no one, and here I am feeling so safe within. It's all within. It's nothing, no material, nothing outward is making me feel this way. It's everything inward. It's everything inside of me. And like everything inside of you. I mean, you've even written a book. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because I would love for you to discuss that a little bit.
Sure. My second book's actually about to come out here in about a month. I'm working towards the completion of that right now with an editor, and God willing, it should be available for purchase literally, March. I'm praying about it, and I'm hoping everything works out. God is the one who's allowed for it. So I trust him, and however and whenever he seems fit to allow for it to be here, it'll be here. But I think it's close. The first book is called Once Upon a Transcendent Realm, and it talks about 10 years of research that I started looking to explain through notes and experiments and prayers and fasts and studying religion and science and history and trying to make sense of creation and studying everything that I could imagine of how things work within existence and trying to understand it. I look at it like I had this great big classroom. It's life. We're all a part of it. But I started trying to pull certain pieces of the puzzle apart so that I could make more sense of it and put it back together and understand how it works. So I studied it over 10 years. And I'm talking about just everyday experiences, but what I found were literally the interactions that, most of us are trying to understand. I saw the spiritual side of life at the same time as the material. And, over time, I learned how to stay in both. One foot here and one foot there. as we interact with otherworldly beings all day long. And by the way, we all do that. This isn't particular to just one person. We all interact this way. This is the way God created life. The show that we were talking about, you guys were talking about just moments before, we interact with angels, all the time. There's messages, there's lessons, there's teaching. They deliver things directly from God so that we can go in better ways. We have the ability to call on them, and they can help us with whatever we're struggling with. We can do the same thing with God our Father, but, God sends angels to us to guide us, protect us, to keep us safe, sometimes even from ourselves. But on the flip side of that, we also battle demons. And a lot of that stuff serves a couple of different purposes, but I look at it like this, like they are able to help us remind us of how to get back to where we're supposed to be, or they're going to teach us a lesson, and they're going to take us someplace where ultimately we go if we go away from God. So, it serves a couple of different purposes. I've had experiences with both. They're really challenging to perceive, but, that's part of what my research all started allowing for. And within, a 10-year period, I learned how to understand energy, chakras, body, consciousness, and within these enlightened out-of-body states, I transcended. And I found different realms of existence, parallel universes, if you will, worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds. And it ultimately led me to heaven. And that's where I met God our Father, the Creator, and I met Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. And that's where these experiences turned into divine encounters and led to the books that God asked me to write and deliver these messages. And, along the way, I've had to endure quite a bit of, some people are skeptical about all this stuff. And, I don't feel like I have to go and justify myself to anybody, but I can prove all the things that I've been a part of. There's actual things that are verifiable, with the time frame that we're doing all these things, the spiritual insights that are being revealed, the encounters with God. And he took me into creation to be a part of it. And he's been in it for a very long time now. And he did something that only he could do. And, the reason all this stuff came about is because I followed the steps of Jesus. And I had faith and trust in the Holy Trinity to guide me to do these things with them. And, it's revealed that first book. I know this is a little winded, sorry, but it revealed that first book, and the second book is about to come out next month, and we've got a third book already written, ready to come out. Yeah, ready to come out after that. So, and I've got a few more offers for a few more books recently, so we got our hands full to talk about these experiences. And again, they're all revealing these extraordinary encounters with God. And that kind of leads me up into what I was hoping we could talk about today. And that's the sanctity, sanctification process that happens when I went through these things. I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, unless you have some feedback for the books, because that's quite a bit of story to share in just a couple of moments there. But
you know what?
I
haven't read the books. I'm going to do that, but I also know that you have artwork as well.
Right.
And I did. And I think that's very beautiful. So you're definitely expressing your inner self outward, and I will be a follower because we can feel the energy and the love and the brightness of your work. I am going to be working on reading those books because I'm super excited about that for you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I will send you a copy of the first book and get you started on your way. And when you get a moment, you can have a read. Okay. And that'll be yeah. You're very welcome.
Yay!
Thanks. The artwork that you mentioned just a moment ago, I've got over 100 pieces, and they're quite big pieces. About 5 foot long and 3 or 4 foot tall, and they're all inspired by the otherworldly, transcendent, divine, supernatural encounters that I've had with God and the otherworldly places and angels and demons, and learning about all the things that God has revealed. It's inspired all these artworks, and I still have so many to develop of these otherworldly places that I'd like to share with people. But we are getting quite a bit of interest in that, and I think there's going to be some pieces that are going to be available coming up soon. So that'll be great. In the meantime, It's great. You know, I have a couple of days to catch my breath right now, but starting back next week, I'm getting back to the writing and to the artwork and stuff. I've literally been working for 5 years straight to do these things, and underneath the harshest conditions as well. You know, there's a whole other story about the things I've had to go through to bring this stuff to light. I've had to face a lot of persecution and mockery and ridicule, and you know, a lot of fear and doubt, and you know, a lot of hate. And I'm actually shooting a documentary about this here probably within the next month or two. That's going to reveal the entire story of in a detailed way that can help people better connect with the things that we're doing. You know, God willing, that's what I'm praying for and hoping for. But have to wait and see.
Wow, that's amazing. I love it. I love you just keep it. You keep on keeping on, and that's the key, to keep on keeping on. You know, it really is.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. You know, thinking about what God shows and revealed to me, it's really easy for me to stay focused because I've seen the world. You know, He shared it with me for a long time. He took me through existence to see how He did it. You know, how life has evolved into what it is today, and He gave me this really great opportunity to help people better understand, you know, what religion is supposed to be about, what spirituality is supposed to be about, you know, how we're supposed to have these things with God, and you know, how we're supposed to live every day with Him in this unifying way, and why. And you know, He just shared something, and He's asked me to basically be myself, but to share everything that I have that He's given with me with everybody. And that's what I do. You know, every time He does that, He gives me more. So I want to do this with everybody, and this is mostly what I was hoping to talk about with this show, and that leads me up to the sanctity part. For anybody out there that's not quite sure what sanctity is, it's the state or being holy or sacred or saintly, you know, something of that nature. Anybody who knew me before, if I was to even talk about sanctification or sanctity around them, they'd be like, "Wait a second, who are you? What are you doing?" But you know, there was a time where I had no idea of God's commandments or word, or you know, I didn't know how to live this way with Him. So I'll be the first to admit it. I've done absolutely everything wrong you can imagine doing. Seriously, this is not a joke. I've actually done all the wrong things. And what I did is when I found God and I found these experiences, He said, "Look, by the way, we don't do things like that anymore. This is how we do it." So He showed me how to do these things right. And when He did that, He gave me His blessing, and He sanctified me in His righteousness. Now, it's kind of a challenging perspective because people are like, "Wait a minute, what are you trying to say?" Well, this is not a self-appointment. This is something that God's called me to. So He's the one who is giving His blessing. But, you know, what sanctity really is it's that quality of being like God, being godly, right? Being the person who's called to this position. You know, we see it with priests, right? With you know, the shamans, you know, the holy people who run the churches, you know, who run religions, things like that. They are considered sanctified, you know, by a man-made organization, whether it's the church or another person, or you know, their doctorate or their degree, or you know, whatever their background is. So you know, people go through different things to become this sanctified person. Well, God was the one who sanctified me. Now, inside of the sanctification that I have with God, I experienced a couple of different perspectives. You know, a lot of us do. You know, you talk a little bit about fear, or you know, maybe anger, or you know, you go through the experiences that you go through. Well, I still go through all those kinds of. They are not inside of me anymore. They're over here, and I encounter them as I go through life. Now, the kind of experience that I have and perspective that I have now is more of an invaluable kind of thing. You know, it's not going to come and take me out of this place that God has put me in to go back to where I used to be so that I could live within that way that I used to live. You know, whether it was, you know, feeling that I had a bunch of trespass, or, you know, if I was living sinfully, or if I was going out doing things against God, or, you know, doing things against His grace, or, you know, things of that nature. You know, profanity or irreverent, you know, doing the kinds of things that you're not supposed to do. I don't go that way anymore because of His sanctification towards me. Now, ultimately, this is what we are all supposed to be going towards is becoming these upright, godly persons with God, so that we go through life doing things in the best way with Him. This is ultimately what the Bible tells us. This is ultimately what every word of God calls us to, is that we are supposed to be godly, right? Because we are all sons and daughters. So as I look at what the sanctification has revealed to me, is that I'm not trying to say that I will never do anything wrong, because I don't know what the future holds. But I do know that while I'm with God, that I won't ever do anything against Him. So I stay with Him every day, and that's what helps me keep me focused. As I wake up, I thank God. I go to sleep, I thank God. In every moment between those 2 points, I'm thanking God, and I'm walking with God, and I'm living with God inside of this place He's put me in. So I hope that clears up just a little bit about what sanctification is really supposed to be about. We're supposed to be growing into this divine grace, and this is part of what Him saving us is about. He gave us that redemption. He gave us salvation. He gave us, that forgiveness. He gave us a way to cleanse ourselves of all that sin, so we could go and have these things with Him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And no matter what path we walk, as long as it's in love and light, we are safe. We are safe. We are what we are, and as long as it's love, that's all that matters. I tell people, if something makes you better and it works for you, just because that's truth, your truth, doesn't mean that it has to be my truth. In other words, I'm not going to judge you because your truth is different from mine. I'm going to be happy that you have found truth, that you have found love, light, and motivation in something that is making you a better person. Yeah. And I think that, we're all one. We're a reflection of each other.
We are. Absolutely. I could touch on one thing there that I learned along the way is, a lot of people talk about truth, and what you just said, I wrote about this in my next book. So I wrote about sanctity also, and this is one of the topics that I hope people really connect with is peace and sanctity. Peace comes from God, and sanctity is something that we have when we're with Him. So, moving towards the thing that you're talking about with truth is that, your truth is different than my truth, and my truth is different than her truth. That is one perspective to look at, and one way to look at. But the way I look at it now in terms of life and existence is that there's one truth, there's God's truth, and that's the way He perceives life. And all the other things that we go through and experiencing are our perceptions of His truth. So we're at different levels of our understanding His way for us and our way in His life, but ultimately it's just one truth. So I try and take that a step further because of what He showed me. And, we can argue and say, well, this is my life, and this is why I see it, and this is but again, if you take God's perspective and go, this is the way He's allowing you to see it, and this is the way He's given to you to have it, and this is what He's given to everybody to be at. So it's really coming from this other place, So if you're really looking for the ultimate truth, and I think we all are, and that's God, and that's what His Word represents, and His promises, and His pact and His covenants, and the things that He is allowing for us to be a part of. I think that's ultimately what we're trying to understand. When you talk about truth, that's what comes to mind. Well, I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yep. It's all within. But I'm going to ask callers to call in. And what we're going to do is, James, I'm going to ask callers to call in, that might be searching for that place inside, that might have questions about certain situations and want advice or help or guidance in reference to, how to go into that place within yourself to find the answers. So, and if during the reading I have someone coming forward for them, I will definitely, if that's okay with you, bring forward their loved ones, and we'll just kind of meld our energy together and just be guided by Spirit right now, okay?
That sounds great.
Perfect, James. So we're going to go ahead and bring on our first caller. All right. Hello, caller. Are you there? Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, caller. Thank you for calling in. What is your name, please?
No, that was me saying hello.
Oh, that was you. Hello, James.
Yeah. Hello, Lillian. How are you? That's awesome.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All right. Hello, Teddy. Are you there? There's a caller on. Hello, Teddy. Are you there? Hello,
I don't
caller.
think the connection's too great.
Yeah, maybe their connection is not good. I see them on, but that's okay.
Well, if you're there and you can hear us, call us back.
Call us back. Thank you for calling. We're going to go ahead and take the next caller. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello. Hello,
Hi,
I'm here.
Thank you for calling in. What is your name, please?
My name is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Welcome to our show. How can we help you?
I am trying to bring in more creativity into my work and creative ideas for my new business. So I think when you were talking about going inside and finding your
Going
things.
within, absolutely. James, what can you tell her about that?
Wow, that's a really great question. Ever since I've been inspired by God, I find that He flows through me. I find it's the Holy Spirit flowing through me. I find that it's this otherworldly energy that flows through me that creates the things I'm a part of now. Now, if I want something or I desire something, if I try and do it by myself, I often find a little blockage or a hesitancy, or sometimes I have to question, is this the right thing? So I kind of go through those experiences, but I recognize it right away. And I would suggest for anybody who's trying to create, is that if you go straight to the source, and I mean God, if you go straight to the source and you start having an open perspective to allow for that creativity to come from Him through you, you're going to be able to create things in an entirely new way that are going to be so much more advantageous, not just for yourself, but for everybody who's going to be a part of it. So I would suggest, if you're open to this, pray. If you're, looking for those answers within, then allow for it to be there and be thankful. It's that perspective of gratitude that will allow for it to manifest. And when it manifests inside of your life, you'll find those creative juices flowing, whether it's in your business or if you're writing or if you're a musician or, if you're a business owner, whatever it is, if you'll simply be thankful and then allow for that energy to flow through you, but keep in perspective that it's not just about what it is that you desire, because that's just what starts it. But you have to have that intention for who and where it's going and what it's being created for. And if you take that selfless perspective, it'll be even greater than you can imagine.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think that that's the most important part, to light that flame inside. And I see a lot of color around you. I see bright colors in your aura. So you definitely are very artistic. And I want to say that I see a lot of growth for you. And you feel the energy. You just can't place it, because I almost feel like, okay, I'm in your mind and you're saying, okay, I've been doing things this way, but I feel like I'm supposed to be doing it a different way, but I'm just not finding the energy that resonates with it, because something's shifting and changing.
Yes.
So, change your intent, like James said. Go ahead and light that flame. Trust the process. And before you do anything or make a decision, close your eyes and put your hand on your solar plexus, which is like, right by your stomach area, and take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, okay, give me divine guidance. I'm taking this time for divine guidance, and allow me to feel, hear, or see the direction that I should go. And remember, just kind of, just see that light coming from your crown chakra all the way out your feet, God's breath just kind of lifting you up, and you giving Him that time to hear Him, because, again, prayer is talking to Him. Meditation is hearing Him. So really, truly just allow Him to touch your soul and feel that breath inside of you, and you are good. I see beautiful changes for you. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of orange. A lot of orange and yellows are coming through now. I'm seeing a lot of that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Orange and
And
yellow.
I'll be praying for you as well, and hoping that the creativity sparks within you. And God willing, you're going to create all sorts of wonderful things for your business and, for your family.
Great. Thank you so much.
We'll leave you with that. Blessings to you.
God bless you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take another caller. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello.
Welcome to our show. What is your name, please?
My name's Lindy.
Hi, Lindy.
Hello, Lindy.
How can we help you?
Hi. Well, first I just want to say I feel very God-led to listen to Mr. Martinez today because as a Christian, I've always struggled, of course, with, the psychic and spiritual side as well. My question is, I do believe I'm in touch and I do believe I go within, but I feel like I'm surrounded right now by a lot of negative energy within my own family realm, siblings type situation. I had lost a parent earlier last year, and I'm not sure how to deal with this or how to cope with this.
Wow. Okay. I feel moved to share something with you right away. One of the things that God taught me just going through the experiences that I went through is that, you have to be responsible for you, and you have to allow His work inside of you to take root. When I first started, one of my biggest concerns was, how am I going to deal with my family? How am I going to help them to understand the things that I'm going through? And God said, that's not your part. Your part is to do what He's asking of you, and He handles the stuff on the external part of you. So if you really want to make things a lot better within your siblings and your family, those that are experiencing the other side of where you're at right now, simply allow God's light to shine through you. And what you'll do is you'll really expose them and they or whoever they are for what it is, and they'll be impacted through you from God. So you won't have to really go make any changes towards them. You'll simply allow God to change you from within, and they'll feel that on the external part of you. So, that fear and all that stuff that's out there, we all face that, whether it's from family members or from other people out there experiencing the same sort of things that, are weighing on us sometimes spiritually. But, again, the way we overcome all fear is with love. So simply stay in that loving place with God. And if you see somebody that's having a hard time, like it's your family members or somebody that you don't even know, that if you pray for them and, the more people that come together to pray for their needs, the better chances they have of getting through whatever adversity that they're faced with. So I would try that first.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and I do that. I do that a lot, but there's just a lot of ugly, negative energy. I don't even know how to describe it.
You know what?
Do you think it's maybe something otherworldly, demons, something like that, fallen angels, something like that? Because that stuff is around. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I feel under attack in a lot of ways, and I don't know how to help. I do love deeply, and I do try to help, but I'm always the one that it back at. You know what I'm saying? When there's anger.
Yeah.
To me,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I would love nothing more to help. I just, and I do pray. I do pray continuously, and
awesome. Well, hearing that perspective of it, I can tell you that, you're stronger than maybe you understand right now. That's what God made you. He made you a strong, powerful woman with a powerful spirit who is able to stand up against every adversity. So the things that you're experiencing, whether it's coming from, angels or somebody misguided by demons or whatever, they're just trying to test you to see where you are. And if you allow them and you succumb to that, then, you're giving up your right as that godly, divine daughter of God that you are. What I would say is, learn to stand up courageously and have faith and put on that armor of love, put on that armor of God. Take up that shield of faith and protect yourself and know that whatever you're faced with, your faith is stronger than that. And whatever adversity that comes your way, if it comes your way, you have this sword of truth and this righteousness, and you can stand up against those adversities and not let them take you out of that loving place that you're meant to be in all times. But,
how do you help those that you feel are maybe demons befallen? How do you help that?
Well, there's a few different ways to go about doing this. We're talking a little bit about spiritual warfare, but if you start being called to do this sort of thing, I would say, be very mindful of it, because when you go to start battling demons and you start casting demons out of, whatever experiences that you find yourself within, if you're not ready for this battle, they can come back and they can start wreaking havoc, and you have to be strong. I fought a lot of, I fought a lot of that. But the way casting demons out is you do it out of love, and you do it faithfully, being fearless, and you do this in the name of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Whatever it is that you're feeling moved to cast out, when you do that, you do it with authority, and you mean it, and you send them away. You send them away from your house. You send them away from the people that are causing harm. You do that with authority, and they will flee and not return. And if they do return, then you do it again. But if you're going to be doing that with individuals that you're facing, then you have to be sure that you're on the same page. They're on the same page with you, because they can come back and make things worse.
And I use, and you know what, when you do it, call on Archangel Michael. He's a wonderful guy for that. I call on him, and I call on Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and I say, in Jesus' name, take them where they need to go, or show them, and so it is, and so it's done. And you say it like you said, as it is done, and that it is not allowed. You take power over your energy. You say, this is my space and only my space where light resides. I zip up my energy for me to keep and no one to take. Where there is light, there cannot be dark.
Right. That's right.
Okay. Thank you. Lillian, do you feel any presence of anything, like from the parent that is passed?
Is your father in spirit?
Yes, my father is a spirit.
Okay, thank you, because I felt him come in right away as soon as you came on the line, okay? I feel as if your father's stepping forward. He's giving me the letter A, connecting with him, A for Albert, and A for Albert or Al, and the A could be in any part of his name, first, middle, or last. He's giving me the month of March as being significant. This could be a birthday, anniversary date, or passing date. Does this make sense, please?
My birthday's in March.
Thank you. So when Spirit mentions birthdays, know that they're saying to you that they will be there in spirit, even though they're not spiritual. They're not there physically. They will be there in spirit. His soul is always with you. He's holding your hand. He is saying to you, things are going to be okay. In 3 months, all this paperwork and all these things that you're going through, it's going to subside. It's going to be balanced. Everything is going to be okay. Do you understand this, please?
I do.
And is your mother in spirit as well, please?
She is.
Thank you, because your mother's stepping forward as well, and she wants to talk about the chocolate chip cookies. She wants to talk about baking, okay, baking. And she's also showing me a necklace that's significant. Jewelry, okay? So would you have a piece of jewelry of hers, please?
I do, but there was also a missing piece of jewelry that really bothered her before she passed.
Well, she wants you to know that it's okay, and she's all right with whatever the outcome is with that situation, and she wants you to relax. She's showing me that she brings a lot of healing to your head, so I'm feeling as if you might be getting headaches or having issues sleeping sometimes, and she's calming you down so that you can rest. She comes to you and brings the scent of roses when her soul is with your soul. She says she loves you very much, and thank you for being there in the last moments with her, and thank you for doing everything you did before and after.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys very much, and I will continue to pray. And it's just hard with all the negativity.
Yeah.
It's hard how to work through that.
Yeah, stay strong. You're stronger than maybe you understand right now, but I promise you, God's always with you. Just have faith in Him, okay?
Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Blessings to you. Bye-bye. All right, James, if someone wants to get a hold of you, look at your artwork, find your books, where do they go?
Well, they can visit my website. It's www.james-martinez. That's james-martinez.com. There are a few links to my book websites from there. It's onceuponatranscendentrealm.com, and the new one is called eternusspirare.com. You can find all this stuff online. My books are available at Amazon. They're also available through the publisher, Westboro Press. But, we're looking to get out and start spreading the message on a wider scale here very soon. So stay tuned. I hope everybody has an opportunity to read it. If you are looking for some spiritual insight, some guidance, an extraordinary, transcendent journey that is revealing of heaven and the different places that I found of other worlds and the science behind it, learning about how this stuff is really possible, I invite you to this journey because there is so much truth and revelation within this book that is extraordinary. And I welcome everybody to it.
I'm excited. And thank you again for coming on, James. It's been a pleasure. Hope to have you on soon again. We'll, look into it within a couple months we'll have you back. Just a reminder to people that, even though myself and James, we're ascending, we're doing different things, but it's all based on the same thing, and that's the point here, that we're all one. We are not separate. The goal is all the same: love, peace, and harmony.
That's absolutely right. I love it.
So thank you so much for coming on. Again, listeners, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow to Energetically Speaking and Psychically Speaking on Lifescape Radio. Also, check out our other shows. We do have shows 5 days out of the week. I think it's actually 6 days. I'm not sure. I think it is still on Saturdays as well. And it is a call. It is a call-in show, and you can call 1-657-383-0827 and press 1 to speak to the host tomorrow during these times. And, again, thank you, everybody, so very much for joining us today, February 2nd. James, you were amazing. Hope to have you on soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And God bless everybody who's listening. I pray your lives are wonderful, and I pray you keep calling. God bless you.
Myself and James will keep you in our prayers. Love and light to everybody. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
The quest for true spirit.